Hi guys, we're having Whitney Bevins join us, a local runner, Olympic Trials Qualifier, and local dietitian, and looks like she's now.
Things.
Hi Whitney.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Well, thanks. Do I need a mask on, Luke?
No, you're good. If you're at home, I think you're good right now. So yeah, we'll just let a couple people file in here. Give me just a moment. I just got a notification. So yeah, I guess to start out, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into running, how extensive your running background is, and a little bit about your dietitian side as well?
Yeah. And I apologize. I've got some animals, so hopefully they don't interrupt too much. But yeah, no, I've been running. I mean, since I was a kid, my dad got me into it, and then just I ran at Westfield High School, and then at IU briefly, and then 7 years later, I got into marathoning. I think I just realized the longer the race, the better for me. It just fit my build and kind of how I work cardiovascularly.
hmm
Kind of just, I fell in love with the marathon and started training, kind of had a goal of qualifying for the Olympic trials, and did that in 2016. Took a little break and just some injury stuff to take care of. And I would say actually very recently kind of getting back into it well, not full time, but just I would say ramping up the training back to competitive marathoning training.
So with that extensive and that long of a marathon kind of training, did you have any like chronic injuries that were reoccurring, or how did that work for
Um, I had one stress fracture, which I mean, looking back was, it could have probably been prevented. Just probably a little bit of overuse and not being smart when the signs showed up initially. Yeah, chronic, kind of a high hamstring tendinopathy issue. So kind of right where the hamstring glute come together. That's been an issue for a long time. I had a stem cell, not surgery, but procedure done in 2017. And that seemed to be one of the only things that I could do to actually fix that issue and get me running again.
Cool. So yeah, just there's a difference between being fit and being healthy for longevity. And I know that was one of the questions that we talked about before regarding eating healthy for longevity and eating for fuel or eating as a runner. Can you talk
Mhm.
a little bit about the differences there?
Sure. Yes. So I like that question you kind of put out there. I mean, I think longevity generally is, I would just more of kind of about kind of balance and enjoyment, and maybe eating for a specific, if there's a health issue like diabetes, or high blood pressure. But generally speaking, you're eating to, I think, just general balance of kind of general, like good nutrition every day, and again, finding enjoyment in that eating. And I'm certainly that applies to endurance athletes as well, but I think we obviously have to be a little bit more specific, in what we're doing. And I think it becomes I, there's tricky because you don't want to overthink. Like, you don't want food to become something that you're worried about. It should not be a stressful thing, but we do have to, I think, plan a little differently as endurance athletes. So, it becomes a little bit of I would just say a planning issue where you have to think about, okay, what's my workout today? What time is that workout? And what do I need to be eating or drinking before that? And then we also have to think about, okay, what am I eating or drinking after that? Um, it's just, yeah, it's different than if you're just eating day to day. Like, okay, I might just run it, like eat. I might need not eat anything if I'm not a runner. I might not eat breakfast at all,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. But if you have a big workout at, let's say, noon, you have to plan for that mindfully if you want to be successful in that. So again, I think we're always thinking about what is the workout, what time is that workout, um, And so there's that planning. And then I did think of that with that question specifically. We're also not just planning for one run. We're planning, I think, kind of our eating and hydration for the whole, like our whole training plan, you know. So I'm not just thinking, like, if I don't recover from my run on Monday, that's going to impact my run on Tuesday. Or I'm, you know, specifically running here because I'm a marathoner, not a triathlete. So yeah, I think it's just more about planning. Again, I don't want food to become stressful for anybody. But you just have to think more about the timing and the timing of your run and what activity you're doing.
Yeah, it helps bring us energy and it helps aid in recovery. And speaking of like the post run or post workout, there's been different opinions on if there is a window or not, especially in endurance running after. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like for your recovery specifically, and for maybe the endurance athlete or recreational runner as well?
Okay, and sorry, Luke. Hey, John. Were you talking? Okay, I'm sorry. Were you talking about a race specifically, or
post workout? So more, it could be a race as well, but just a higher intensity day.
Okay.
Is there a window of time anymore, or is it just?
I think the rule of thumb is still stands. We call it the glycogen window. I think that just still general rule of thumb is trying to eat and drink within those 2 hours post workout. The tricky part for a lot of people, I think anybody that's done some endurance work knows that sometimes those 2 hours after the workout, I would say especially when it's really hot, you don't feel like eating and drinking. So there again, it's kind of trial and error a little bit. So you have to think about, okay, what can I possibly stomach to at least get some calories in? Hi, Isabel. So I don't always like to eat a lot after a workout. So I've switched to more of a liquid-based drink that's going to have some protein, some fat, and carbohydrate in it.
Post-workout too?
What's that?
You're saying post-workout, you just
post-workout, I tend to drink my calories and protein because, again, that's one of the easier ways for me to stomach something like that right after, like within those 2 hours.
Do you have a specific mix that you want to shout out?
And I don't do dairy, and that's just a personal thing. I have some dairy. So unfortunately, like, the traditional chocolate milk is out, which I think is still great for anybody that doesn't mind dairy.
Mm-hmm.
I do like a vegan, or it's Vega powder. It's a pea protein plant based powder. Hold on, let me go grab it. That's easier. I can stomach that, and it's something quick I can use.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but yeah. There it is. I don't know if that's. Can you see that? Yeah. All right, that's what I use.
Get that off Amazon, or do you just get that?
Target. I get it at Target. Yeah.
Cool.
And not always. Like, again, if it's just a regular run, I mean, I can eat just fine. But if it's a long run or a big workout, that's kind of my go-to because I know I need something, and I know I don't feel like eating, so I kind of have to find a compromise there.
Okay. I know that each diet is kind of individualized, but for a person that's just now getting into the realm of nutrition, can you give them any recommendations on like elementary ratios for substance that you would talk about, like in terms of macros or something like that?
Yeah, hold on. Yes, I wrote a little bit of stuff down here again. And I know you and I talked, Luke, but for anybody on the call, I am careful about kind of giving specific guidelines with numbers because I think nutrition at the very most is very individualized, and each person's body works very differently. So again, this is kind of just general guidelines to follow. But carbohydrates, I would say on average, if you're exercising about an hour a day, you would need about 7 to 8 grams of carbohydrate per kilogram body weight, as just a general guideline. I would say if you have like a harder workout or a longer run, you'd want to practice with getting in about 45 to 60 grams of carbohydrate a couple hours before that workout. And again, that all depends. Each person feels differently with food in their stomach and what they can tolerate before certain exercise. So that's just a general guideline. I would say post exercise, where you're wanting, I would say you're burning about 30 to 60 grams of carbohydrate like in an hour of exercise, so refueling that way. I think you want to be careful too of, there's a lot of people, and this is not just specific for endurance athletes, but anybody that possibly has a weight loss goal. You want to be careful actually about overeating. I know that sounds silly, but a lot of people that are trying to lose weight actually, oh, go ahead. Hey, Sid.
Go on.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I think there's kind of some people actually end up overeating when they start exercising, which I realize kind of sounds counterintuitive. This only to people that are actually, oh, can hold on. Luke, can you hear me?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yep.
I would only suggest this to anybody that's actually has a lot of experience with endurance training. Mm-hmm. I do a couple times a week. Am I there?
Yeah, I'm trying to move too.
Luke?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I'll just move to the...
Okay.
Yeah. So, a couple times a week, I caught a little bit of that with the carbs. Now.
Okay, so I actually do twice a week. They're intentional, and again, this is for anybody that is I would say a trained endurance athlete. I do fasting runs. So, and these are not hard workouts. These are not long runs. These are maybe 8 to 10 miles. Again, I'm a marathoner, so that's I would say a regular run for me. I am not eating before that run intentionally, and I typically do it in the morning, so I'm coming off of already a fast. But I don't eat before that run, and that is intentionally to kind of give the body, put it in a place of learning to kind of exercise off of a little bit lower glycogen store. Mm-hmm. Because if we're racing, we're going to get into a place where we're depleted, and you're wanting to kind of get the body and mentally, so you're in a place that you're comfortable being in that position a little bit.
Okay.
So now that's not a weight loss. That's not a weight loss driven at all. That's just kind of putting the body a little bit in a state of kind of being comfortable in a lower glycogen state and then getting through that.
And you talked, I may have been when you were breaking up, but can you talk a little bit about protein and fats as well as mm-hmm. carbs intake?
Yeah, in general, again, this general guideline here, for protein, you're wanting anywhere from, and this would, I would say the extent, let's just keep it, if you're doing about an hour a day, you want around 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram body weight you're consuming. But I would say more than a number, more than like, okay, I'm adding up these grams a day, which I don't want too many people thinking like that. I think it's just more important that with each meal and snack, you're getting some type of protein source in there.
Okay.
I think that's a better guideline to go off of.
Okay. And then fats as well?
Fats less so. So fats can, okay, so you want to be careful with fats specifically before a big workout, because they can impede your body's use of carbohydrates and protein. And then some people might notice if they eat a high fat diet before a work, again, I'm talking like a bigger workout or a long run, you might feel some stomach discomfort because the fats digest more slowly, and they're also just kind of going to sit in your gut a little bit. So you might not want that heavy feeling. Now, there's certainly a necessity there. So I'd say post-workout, great. Or even like, again, having cheese or like mayo, avocado in your turkey sandwich is fine. But like you wouldn't want a big hamburger or fried chicken sandwich like probably 2 hours before you go work out.
Okay. With that, you kind of talked about generalization and how everybody individualizes. Are there certain apps that you suggest to your clients to use to track their diets or their food intake, or do you more opt on the side of it's an art as opposed to just
and
eating?
I don't want to opt. I think with the app, you have to really look at, okay, is it something you're actually going to use? And then what is the purpose for, I think a lot of people use apps more for weight loss because they are trying to keep track of a specific calorie, like intake. I think as an endurance athlete, like what is the purpose there specifically? I mean, MyFitnessPal is still a pretty easy to use general food app. And it has a lot of versatility. But like you said, I think it is an art, and I think each person has to kind of be mindful, like, okay, well, what did I eat today before this workout, and how did I feel? I think there's some just general rules of thumb with eating. Like if someone is always hungry at night, if you're constantly always just hungry at night, that means you're not getting enough during the day.
Right.
So I think that's just a sign your body is telling you need to adjust. And okay, I need to be eating more earlier, because that's your body like kind of playing catch up with you.
Right. Just rapid fire in the break here. What are some of your favorite foods?
My athletes are on. I'm hesitant to answer this. How do I answer this? I eat a lot of pizza, which I realize is not what I'm supposed to say. Let's see. I eat a lot of avocados. Not just plain, but I eat avocado and everything. I eat a lot of burritos. I eat a lot of beans. I'm not vegetarian. But yeah, I eat a lot of I eat a lot of simple stuff. I'm not a chef. A lot of people think dietitians are amazing cooks. I'm not. So I keep it pretty simple. I do a lot of beans and rice, a lot of tomatoes, or diced, like just canned tomatoes. And I eat pizza once a week at least. I don't know. That's kind of my go-to. And I do, let's see, what do I eat in the morning? My morning go-to is kind of frozen waffle with peanut butter and a fruit smoothie and a little bit of honey.
What's a food item kind of off the beaten path that you would suggest that we all try at least once at the grocery store because of the nutritional value?
Okay, so beets are popular right now. Beets are kind of okay. So nutritionally, a lot of endurance athletes, you might see the beet products out there. The reason for that is they can be in if used, I think, correctly, they can have some benefit as a vasodilator, so to kind of help with blood flow. So you're seeing, I think, more beet products maybe in your store, or even in health food stores. We're seeing kind of more beet products, but something out there if anybody wants to try it. Okay, so here's something I like a lot. I'm not a fan of Gatorade. I never have been. I think coconut water is great. Like if you want to have a hydration drink, maybe you don't want to buy, and I do use a lot of I like noon. I like SOS, but if you don't want to buy something like that, like a powder, I really think coconut water is great for rehydrating.
Mm-hmm.
And also tomato juice.
Tomato juice?
Like a V8, yep, because you're
Yeah.
going to get your potassium and your sodium that way.
V8. I remember those.
Yep.
Haven't had those in a while.
I wouldn't count it as a vegetable, but
I have a couple more questions here. I won't keep you too long, Whitney. Thanks for your time.
no, this is fun. Thanks.
And regarding daily water intake, especially now, I mean,
Yep.
it feels like we're always drinking water in the summer. What's that look like, and how does that change throughout the seasons? Have you had experience with some of your clients overhydrating, or is that even too far?
I can't say I have. Overhydration has never been an issue, and my athletes that are on this call, it seems that we're all dehydrated more often than not. I think we really underestimate in this weather how much fluid we're losing. And I think we're always on the end of I hydrated before, so we're not drinking after, I feel like a lot of athletes are doing one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
They're hydrating before, they're hydrating after, but they're not kind of doing that full. And this type of heat, if you're exercising every day, it has to be just kind of this constant part of what you're doing. I think for right now in this season, for men, a gallon a day is not too much. That's 128 ounces for men right now. For women, 96 ounces of fluid a day.
Okay.
And I'm not necessarily like including coffee or soda in that.
And how's that changed for a marathoner?
I think that's what I'm saying for an endurance athlete.
Okay, for an endurance athlete. Okay.
Yep.
And then for weekend warrior, what would you be at?
I think stick to traditional. Okay, so again, I think we're individualized. There are some people that just sweat far more, and I think if they want, some people do weigh themselves before and after to really get a sense of how much fluid they're losing. So I think even a weekend warrior in this weather, if they're sweating a lot, they still need that much fluid.
Okay.
Because we're not talking calories here. This is just strictly fluid intake.
Right. And then one of the last questions I have is any books that you recommend regarding nutrition, running, any of that?
Yes. So good question. So it's a dietitian friend of mine. She's also a 2-time Olympic Trials Qualifier in the marathon, and she's based up in Westfield, Indiana. She and her husband, so she owns actually Field Brewing in Westfield.
Okay.
She's also an amazing sports dietitian. Her name's Jackie Dicus. She wrote this book, and I like it because it's not long, it's not super technical, and I think it applies to general endurance athlete guidelines. It's not. So anyway, it is called Finish Line Fueling. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So I like her book. And again, not just because she's my friend. I like it because it's simple. It's easy to follow. She does have in the end of the book she's more of a foodie and a cook than I am. So she does have some fun recipes using some, I would say, kind of different ingredients. If anybody likes cooking or wants to try some different stuff, she's really good at that.
So Finish Line Fueling. By Jackie Dicus.
Yep.
And then you coach Westfield cross country with who else coaches there?
Scott Liskin is the current head coach for the girls, and then we have Roger Wachtel's the head boys coach over there.
And thanks for having your girls show out on this.
Thanks for joining, girls. I know they hear me talk about this stuff a lot, probably more than they want. But I did have one thing or two things real quick that I wanted to highlight. How much time do we have, Luke?
I got 5 more minutes. So.
Okay, I'll be quick. So actually, it's something, Luke, you said when we were talking the other day is kind of about planning. Everybody wants these guidelines, but you made a really good point as well. Okay, but what works for you? I think that's important for everybody to keep in mind. I could give you a list of things to do, but if that doesn't fit within your schedule or what you're going to do, then it doesn't make sense. So I think planning for whatever routine works for you in terms of eating. If you know you're in the car a lot and you're not, I'm not a big cook. Okay, so what can you keep in your car to have fuel? I keep bananas, I keep trail mix, I keep beef jerky, I keep like stuff like that in my car because that works for me. So I think I just think planning for your routine and schedule is important.
And what you're actually going to eat, instead of
exactly. Yeah, well, I could tell you go eat beets, but if you're not gonna eat beets, like, what's it matter?
What you're gonna eat and what you would actually prepare. Those are the two things for me.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think, and then just two of the things I think that I want to highlight is as athletes, it's all encompassing, right? If we could talk nutrition all day long, but if you're not sleeping, then what good does that do? Sleeping is as important. And then I think too, really being very careful and knowing my athletes are on here, but is, again, I could be doing everything correctly, my sleep, my hydration, eating well, but if I have an iron deficiency, then again, you're still, so all the pieces have to be in place. So really looking at your possible nutrition deficiencies too. I think it's important for specifically all female athletes to maintain or be on some type of iron supplement. In working with, maybe talk to your doctor if you're not comfortable picking out one. And then again, a B12. If our B12 levels are low, it doesn't matter what else we're doing because we don't really have the energy to get us through these workouts anyway.
Right.
So I think there's a couple of things to be mindful of as well.
Yeah, you mentioned sleep. There is one book that I've read on sleep that I recommend. It's called Sleep by Nick Littlehales. He's an elite sports sleep coach.
Okay.
Endurance athletes are a little bit different than the regular recreational runner, but I would say you need a little bit more sleep if you're going to be working out as much as you do. Yeah. But it is a good book just to talk about sleep cycles, standard wake-up times that I'd suggest reading. And just to wrap it up, we do meet at JackRabbit, and you can see Whitney there sometimes on Wednesday nights. It may change a little bit, but Monday and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for a group run right now with CCA. It's free through the end of July. And then Saturdays at 8 a.m. You have anything else to wrap up, Whitney?
No, I think that's it. Thank you,
Thank
Luke,
you
for
so much
having me.
for joining.
It's good to see you.
It was good to see you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.